Lindsey Graham is going viral. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, again, because of his obsession for war, just war in general. Truly, in this interview, he looks like he's legitimately crying. He's so red in the face because of the fact that Donald Trump chose not to strike Iran yet, keyword there. So take a listen to this.
There are a lot of headlines out there that are, in my view, not accurate. President Trump's resolve is not the question. The question is, when we do an operation like this, should it be bigger or smaller? I'm in the camp of bigger. Time will tell. I'm hopeful and optimistic that the regime days are numbered. There are a lot of headlines out there.
Look at it, how red his face. The dude looks like he was just notified a loved one died. Although he doesn't have a loved one because he's been single forever, probably because he's nuts. He truly looks like he's genuinely depressed because the United States is not doing another regime change operation. I wish I could say that, this is shocking. It's baffling. It's baffling, but I wouldn't say it's shocking coming from him. We see this stuff routinely. You might have remembered previously when he went viral last year. I believe this was because of the fact that during a clip regarding a hurricane, he decided to focus on Israel and divert the conversation instead of South Carolina hurricane victims to Israel. So let me go ahead and play this clip here so you guys can take a listen to this as well.
You can thank Donald Trump and Elon Musk for that.
I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel surrounded by people
my God.
Kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says be proportional. What is the proportion?
So, I'm going to just... So, again, this was a while back ago, but it's important to show this because it shows that this guy diverted a conversation about suffering victims that he's supposed to represent. These are the people that he's been elected to represent, allegedly. And instead, he's diverting the focus to Israel again. And I wish I could say it's just happening in the United States, but as we've seen with, my previous guests that I interviewed, it's happening in Argentina. I've been seeing a lot of you guys in the comments saying it's happening in Australia. And what I mean by that is we're seeing this sort of thing in every single one of these Western governments. There are puppet figures elected, and they're more focused about Israel. They're more focused about making sure Israel gets what it wants instead of their own countries. And it's only Israel. It's only Israel. There's no other country in the world where you have Western politicians obsess the way they do about Israel. You can't help but think about conspiracies when you see this level of obsession with a country that they're not even supposed to represent. So, he's going on crying, literally red in the face, crying about the fact that Trump hasn't struck Iran yet. I think that Trump will, not that I want him to, but I think he will, and I think that there is something else going on in the background that we don't know about. I think there's a geopolitical miscalculation. Maybe they're waiting for the right opportunity. They thought they had it, and they haven't. But I know for a fact that they're going to make sure that they bomb Iran. Trump wants to bomb Iran, and Netanyahu and Israel are going to make sure that Trump does before he leaves office. That's pretty obvious at this point. Iran is saying, Trump is saying that maybe they won't as long as Iran negotiates with them and follows according to their wishes, which basically means destroy every single all of your nuclear capabilities, just nuclear refining, completely wipe it out, allow Americans to come in and just destroy all of your weapon arsenals. That's basically what the United States considers negotiating, which is exactly what they did to Gaddafi, actually. And I showed you guys yesterday, even after Gaddafi did that, they still wiped him out. So that's kind of what the United States want at the behest of Israel. All of this is at the behest of Israel because we could have we could have better relations with Iran so that way we're not always just fighting with them. We're not fighting with them for the project in the Middle East. That's been nothing but a burden for America. We could have more amicable relations, but we don't because of that project, because of Israel, because of the fact that all of our politicians are bought out by Israel. We have U.S. politicians seemingly crying on air during their press statements because of the fact that we're not bombing countries and doing regime change operations. And these people keep getting reelected. That's the issue here, is they keep getting reelected. So, we talk about this sort of stuff on social media. I like to think that people are aware, but clearly people are not aware enough because they're still electing these people. That's what baffles me more than anything. How are they getting reelected? The propaganda must be really strong. We say that, mainstream media, it's kind of dying out and people don't believe in the propaganda anymore. Well, I beg to differ because these people are still getting elected. So clearly something's working. And, even if if the United States struck Iran, do you think it's going to benefit the United States in any way whatsoever? You think we're just going to immediately install this puppet figure, Reza Pahlavi, and all of a sudden now we have a Western-backed Iran and everything's fine and dandy? It never ends up working out that way. It never ends up working out that way. And who knows what's going to form after that? Who knows what the day after could look like if Iran is actually overthrown, if the regime is actually overthrown? We don't know if airstrikes alone could even do that. And what if they don't? What if they don't? Then what is Israel going to do? Is Israel going to try to push us to do more? If airstrikes don't work and somehow the Iranian regime is still able to hold on to power, then what? Because Israel's not going to allow that. They're going to keep pushing for something else. So then what? There is no end game to this. There's already Israeli officials, not just Israeli officials, actually, Israeli podcasters as well, salivating about the fact that after Iran is overthrown, they're already thinking about the next thing. I saw one Israeli influencer, quote unquote, on X talking about how she's already salivating at the idea of doing Pakistan next. Although they're nuclear armed countries, she's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm seeing Israeli officials talk about how immediately after Iran is overthrown, then the next thing they're going to do is go after all of these proxies in Africa. There's really no end game to this. If you think it's just going to stop at Iran and all of a sudden there is world peace, I promise you what's going to come next is going to be worse than what we have already. It's going to be much worse. And it's going to be much worse because now one of Israel's biggest enemy is gone and out of the picture, hypothetically. And Israel has all of this extra resources and all of this extra energy to divert it elsewhere, which is going to be the beginning of Israel's expansion across the Middle East, unlike anything we've seen before. That's what these evangelicals, that's what these older politicians have, that's what they're imagining. That's what they kind of have in place. That's what they're trying to expedite. God knows why. And the United States is basically Israel's useful idiot to carry that out. The United States is nothing more than a useful idiot. The United States and Europe included are basically supporting this project in the Middle East until it can handle things on its own. God knows when that's going to be, because so far it hasn't been able to do it. And that looks like where things are headed. So anyways, guys, that's really it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below and give it a thumbs up as well. If you want to see more of my videos, I'd appreciate it if you click the subscribe button. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.